You're watching American Trends. I'm Mary Burt-Godwin, and you know what that theme music means.
What?
It's time for Mr. Brad Rambur. What the tech?
We got to work on
Brad
our fist bump in
this space. We got to work it out. Yeah,
the lounge-o-matic.
Yeah, this is our temporary home.
It's a lovely place.
It's working.
Totally.
I like it.
Totally.
So since we saw you last, you had something cool happen. Oh, there's your graphic.
There we go. Yeah. What the tech? Oh, the tech now is an airplane.
With the tech, yeah, it's your airplane. So you are an official.
I'm a flight instructor.
Flight instructor. That's pretty cool. So you could take
right
JB over here out and teach him how to fly a plane?
Yep. How to fly and not to die.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
I really don't have an interest in learning how to fly planes, but I'd go on a ride.
We should go.
Yeah, I'll sit next to you.
We'll do a San Diego Bay tour, and you can see all the places you grew up from the air.
I'd like that. Okay, cool. So let's talk. Okay, normally we talk about tech stuff, and this is tied to tech, but I do want to talk about something that is trending right now for a lot of folks in the country, which is college application time.
Lots of changes.
For parents that have seniors, but also I have a junior, and it's already starting to be a thing. And I'm seeing people post on social media, and it drives me bonkers. I have to unfollow people because they're posting all the things they're doing, and it's just giving me anxiety because I think, I'm not doing those things. Do I need to be doing those things? What am I doing wrong? I don't know. So that's with dance specifically.
Sure.
You know, all the things. So I want to actually talk about, you know, the pressure on high school kids to get to where you are now. So you have a senior. Talk to me about what's going on with this process.
Well, so my senior wants to be a mechanical engineer. That's a very specific.
He's got a propeller head too.
Oh,
hat,
he's got a propeller hat for every day of the week. He's gotten this from me. He comes by it honestly, and we're flexing into it for sure.
Well,
so
your wife's pretty smart too.
She's smart. I swam way past where I could touch in the gene pool. And found his mother.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so it's good stuff. So he wants to be a mechanical engineer, and that's a very specific technical education. And so how do you learn how to do that? So people do it OJT, but university is a place where you would really want to start to do that and be professionally certified. So
OJT, on the job
training. Yeah.
You got to break it down for people out there and me. I was like, what is OJT?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, got it.
My acronyms.
Yeah, on the job training. But to find specifically where would be a good college for your particular field that your child wants to go to.
Yeah, so now we're opening the proverbial can of worms. So here on the left coast, we have all these schools that his admissions counselor calls the sweatshirt schools. Oh, I want to go there. Well, why? Well, because I've heard all sorts of answers, because they have a great football team, they have a great reputation. For what, right? So there are small schools you've never heard of that do those things phenomenally, but they don't have a football team or a basketball team. They didn't go to the Sweet 16.
They don't have the college letters that everyone recognizes.
Exactly. So if you take a Caltech as an example, right? Do you know where Caltech is?
No.
It's harder to get into than MIT and Harvard and all those places, but it's a phenomenal engineering school. It's right next to the JPL, the Jet Propulsion Labs in Pasadena. Okay. As is Harvey Mudd. It's a Claremont college.
Yes, I've heard of that.
So we start thinking about engineering schools in our case, and what part of the world would he want to be in? Is he going to be able to handle the weather? Is he going to be in classes with 3 and 4 and 600 people? Is he going to have a good lab environment? Because mechanical engineering, you got to work with stuff. You got to build things, right?
Right.
So, and then there's the University of California, which I think is the largest public university on the planet, if not the second behind the California state system. Just thinking in state in the moment.
Yeah.
So these, what gets interesting about it is, what is the right campus? What are the right professors? What is the right program? Are you going someplace because of its geography? I've heard that I want to go to the University of Hawaii to study what? Yeah. Oh, I like Hawaii.
Yeah, right.
And that logic loop brings me up short. So if you're going to study something, why would you study it in this particular place?
The only time that might work out would be in a case where someone doesn't know exactly what they want to do. If they're not focused on doctor, engineer, something specific where they know a college is good at that particular field, then maybe you go to a New York City school if you want to just try it. Because it's your only opportunity in life to really try a new city in a temporary time.
Yeah. So this is where, for me, it gets super interesting, because there are all sorts of things you can major in, and there are all sorts of schools that are run by states and run by private companies and run by endowments, and their job is to sell you an education. Well, is that education going to help you keep yourself fed when you're done with it?
Right.
Or are you just going to be a place and try some things and maybe go to class, and that might work out and that might not.
Right.
So,
which was actually my trajectory, and I don't necessarily suggest it.
but think about the expense
Right.
of you got into a school. I went to this great school. Okay, well, what did you study? Something that you could have studied closer to home
Right.
and less expensively. Now, post-COVID and with the internet and availability of resources, that information can be spread out very democratically and very inexpensively. So it really is an interesting thing to me. Why do you want to go to the school you want to? Why do you want to study what you want to study? What's the end game? So I think a lot of young people don't have a clear vision there. And I wouldn't expect it at 18. If I think of me at 18, I'm lucky I'm not in jail, right?
Well, right. I mean, I know that for me. There's college. So I want to talk quickly about, because you touched on it, the social media, the college sweatshirt factor.
Yeah.
Do you think that now in this age of Instagram and TikTok and everyone's seeing the photos and the reveals are on camera and videotaped, and the pressure for these kids is elevated even more than it was when it was my turn way back when?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, how do we get kids to kind of think past what sweatshirt are you going to wear and how cool is your Instagram pic going to be, and really get to those questions that are, what's realistic for you, whether cost, what you want to do, class size, because there are so many amazing schools out there. You know, these top 5 that we all talk about are amazing and impressive, but there's so many schools out there that you can get into.
Yeah.
And it's not impossible to get into, and they're going to give you an amazing education.
Absolutely. So if we can take the inverse of that and see what happened with USC and the recruiting and the actors being thrown in jail.
Oh,
School
what
has
a horrible situation.
School has a great reputation, but is it for turning out highly qualified candidates or a really strong alumni network? It's probably the latter. And so people are doing illegal things, admittedly, to get their kid into that school because that reputation is associated with them. And then that makes things easier once they come out, right? And so that is all the thinking gone wrong, if you ask me.
Right.
So, example, I have a mentor who wanted his children to go to Princeton, which clearly is a good school.
Yeah.
Well, why that versus Stanford or Harvard? Well, because the teachers actually teach. You're not going to be in with the teaching assistant. The professors, tenured or not, teach class. Einstein taught class.
At Princeton.
Yeah, right? And so I go, wow, that's an important thing to learn.
So how do you find those facts out about schools that you're interested in? Like, how do you go deeper into just than the surface level?
Yeah.
What's my sweatshirt going to look like?
So for us, how we've been working through this, and we have a full-time admissions counselor with my eldest's school, it's what do you want to study? What kind of town is it in? Are you going to be dealing with snowdrifts when you grow up in San Diego? You know, that's an important question to know. So you want your head in the right place so you can learn what you need to learn. Class size matters, access to professors, and in his case, lab environment. What are you going to be able to do lab-wise? So if you were looking to major in Spanish literature, wouldn't you want to be a place where Spanish is spoken a lot?
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Versus having to study abroad necessarily. So those are the kinds of choices that we're looking into. And then expense, of course, clearly matters. Are you in-state versus out? And then, honestly, what percentage of graduates are landing in their job and career field when they graduate? And
that is facts that you can look up or you can
Absolutely.
inquire about, right, with the admissions counselor office? Okay.
Yep.
I want to talk quickly about the other side of it is, you know, the kids that are in high school, even junior high, that are feeling pressure to go to clinics, go to camps, go to get internships.
The resume builders.
The resume builders. It's so much pressure on these kids, and I actually succumb to it all the time.
Yeah.
What is realistic and what is like just have your kid enjoy life and do what they like to do and stop trying to resume build?
You know, here's how this works. So both of mine worked in a warehouse this summer. Is that going to turn them into, one of them wants to go into medicine, one wants to go into engineering? Is it going to turn them into good engineers and doctors? Indirectly, yeah, because you got to get up and do something that someone else
Work
is
ethic.
paying you for. Exactly. So that's a big deal. So the resume building part, if you plan to do something as an adult, do you want to start working on getting good at it now? For me, the big metaphor is flight training. Kids have amazing hands. They play lots of video games. You put them in an airplane, they learn 3 times as fast as an adult who's already in a career and might be married and has children of their own, right? So there's a distinct difference. And so once you expose them to those things that they might want to do as an adult, then they actually know a little more about it and might continue on that path, or maybe go, this isn't for me. I have one who says, I get a little airsick. Maybe piloting isn't for me. Okay, great.
Okay, great.
I get it. Yeah, so it's that kind of thing. But I think that if you put it in the spirit of exploration and understanding rather than to look competitive, now that a lot of schools don't need SAT or ACT scores, they literally tell you they won't look at them.
Yes, that's a big thing in California. Okay, we got to take a break, and we do have some tech questions for you in the next segment.
Okay.
We stick around for some more tech questions.
Sure.
We're talking with Brad Rambur, cybersecurity expert, pilot, dad of a college-bound child soon, and we'll be right back with more America Trends right after this.